I was only 13 when it happened. That day started like any other. Math class, chatter in the room, kids passing notes and laughing. Nothing felt different. And then, everything changed. We were in the middle of a lesson when I heard it. This sharp, deafening bang. At first I thought something had fallen, maybe a chair, but then I saw him. He had pulled something out of his backpack. It was a gun. Before I could even process it, the shots kept coming, one after another. The sound echoed through the classroom, so loud it made my ears ring. Everyone screamed at once, pure panic. Desks scraped across the floor, papers flew, kids trampled each other trying to escape. I froze. I couldn't move. My best friend grabbed my arm, yanked me down behind a desk. We pressed our faces to the floor as more shots exploded above us. I could hear them, people begging. "I'm hit! Please stop!" Those voices, they'll never leave me. I risked a glance. 2 of my classmates were lying still, blood pooling beneath them. Others clutched their sides, gasping for air, crying out for help. And the shooter. He wasn't aiming. He was just firing, swinging his arm wildly. His face was blank, almost detached, like none of it was real. At one point he stopped. I thought maybe it was over. But then he pulled something from his pocket, another magazine. He was going to reload. That's when our teacher did something I'll never forget. She ran straight at him, screaming for him to put it down. For a second I thought she was dead too, but she grabbed the weapon, her hands shaking, and somehow she convinced him to stop. The silence afterward was worse than the shots. Just sobbing, gasping, kids calling for their parents. The floor was smeared with blood, backpacks abandoned everywhere. I remember stepping over one of my classmates as I ran outside. His eyes were still open, staring at nothing. That was the last time I ever saw him alive. News reporters later called it a tragedy. They said the boy had been bullied. Maybe that was true. But none of that erases what I saw, what we all lived through. The screams, the blood, the way life was stolen in seconds. I was only 13, but that day, childhood ended for all of us. I don't think I'll ever forget that day. It plays in my head over and over, and sometimes I wonder how I even made it out alive. It wasn't just me who lived it. My best friend was right there with me. And I'll never forget the way she looked at me when we both realized we might not survive. It was during 4th period, history class. The lockdown came without warning. A loud alarm, followed by the announcement, "This is a lockdown. This is not a drill." Almost instantly, the teacher turned off the lights and herded everyone to the corner. But me and my friend were in the hallway. We had just left the bathroom when the alarm hit. The doors around us slammed shut, windows covered, locks clicked. And suddenly, we were alone in the middle of the hall. My friend grabbed my arm, whispering, "Where do we go? What do we do?" I didn't know. We started running, desperately trying door handles, but every classroom was locked tight. Then we saw it. A storage room for sports equipment. We slipped inside, shut the door, and crouched behind stacked mats. At first, it was silent. Just our breathing, fast and shallow. I remember my friend squeezing my hand so tightly it hurt. Then, the footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Deliberate. Someone walking the halls with purpose. We held our breath as the steps grew louder. They stopped, right outside the storage room door. We could hear the handle rattle, slowly at first, then harder. I saw my friend cover her mouth, her eyes wide with tears. The door didn't open. The steps moved on. For a moment, we thought maybe we were safe. But then, the screaming started. Not far away, someone shouted, pleading. Then a gunshot. Another scream. And another shot. We sat, frozen, listening as chaos echoed down the halls. Running footsteps, more begging, more shots, people crying for help. Silenced, one by one. My friend whispered in my ear, trembling, "We're going to die in here." I wanted to tell her no, that we'd be okay, but the words wouldn't come out, because deep down, I thought she was right. Minutes passed like hours. Every sound was torture. Every door slammed, every scream, every shot, it felt closer. At one point, the handle to our door shook again, this time harder. We both clutched each other, biting our lips, praying not to make a sound. Whoever it was eventually moved on, but we stayed there, silent, shaking. Finally, after what felt like forever, the PA system announced the lockdown was over. We didn't move. Not until we heard teachers' voices, police radios, and students crying. When we finally stepped out, the hallway was lined with stretchers, people being carried away, others in shock, their clothes stained with blood, and my friend just broke down. She collapsed against me, sobbing, her whole body shaking. That image, her face, twisted with terror, it never left me. I realized then that the most terrifying part wasn't the gunshots, or the screaming, or even how close we came to being found. It was the silence, the waiting, the helplessness of knowing at any second the door could open, and that would be it. That's the part that never leaves you. I'm thankful every single day that I'm not in high school anymore. But sometimes, when I see the news about another lockdown or school incident, I can't help but think back to what happened to me, and how nobody ever told the real story. It was third period, algebra. I'd just finished a tough exam and asked to use the bathroom. The first floor ones were closed off for repairs, so I went upstairs. That's when the bell rang. Not a normal bell, the loud, sharp one. And immediately, the PA system clicked on. "Attention students and staff, we are now entering lockdown. This is not a drill. Follow all procedures immediately." My stomach dropped. The hallway doors started locking around me, classroom lights went out, and teachers rushed to cover their windows. And I was stuck outside. The bathrooms didn't even have locks anymore, so I couldn't risk hiding there. I panicked, running down the hall until I spotted the janitor's closet. It was unlocked. I pulled the door shut, turned off the light, and crouched down in the dark. For a while, it was quiet. Just the sound of sirens approaching and then stopping outside. Then came the boots. Dozens of them. Heavy, pounding against the floor. Men shouting commands, radios crackling. I thought they were police at first, but something about the way they moved and spoke didn't fit. A commanding voice echoed down the hall. "Positions! He's in here. Block every exit. Nobody leaves alive unless I say so." Another voice responded. "Yes, sir. Unit B is at the exits. Unit C has the other side contained. He's cornered." My chest tightened. He. Who were they talking about? And then it started. "Drop the weapon! On the ground! Now!" Seconds later, the sound of guns being cocked toward the hallway. "Hands where we can see them! Don't move!" Then, gunfire. Dozens of shots tearing through the silence. And over the gunfire, the screams. Not just one, but many. The kind that slice through you. Screams of pain, of people begging, of chaos. I pressed my hands over my mouth to stop myself from crying out. Bodies hit the floor. Radios screeched with static. I heard one man yell for backup, his voice breaking mid-sentence. Another pleaded, "Don't shoot," before being cut off by more gunfire. The sound of it all, the panic, the desperation. It didn't feel like a controlled operation. It felt like a massacre. I could see shadows moving under the closet door, frantic, stumbling, falling. At one point, a stray bullet punched straight through the wood, inches from my face. Then, silence. Just heavy breathing and boots shuffling over the floor. Finally, that commanding voice again. Raspy now. Strained. Target neutralized. Begin cleanup. No traces left. Understood? Cleanup. That word made my blood run cold. When the lockdown finally ended, I stepped out of the closet expecting to see everything. Blood, shells, broken glass. But the hallway was spotless, like nothing had ever happened. That night, the news reported that a student had been taken into custody after a brief disturbance at the school. No injuries, no casualties. Classes canceled for the rest of the week. But that wasn't true. I heard the people screaming. I heard the shots, the begging, the dying. And the person they showed on TV, handcuffed, unhurt, being shoved into the back of a police car, wasn't who I imagined from the chaos I witnessed. Even stranger, the hallway footage they showed didn't match what I saw. The closet I hid in, not a single mark on it, not even the bullet hole that nearly killed me. It looked like it had been replaced entirely. And nobody ever spoke about it again. Not the teachers, not the school, not the news. The story just disappeared. But I know what I heard. I know people were killed that day. And I know the truth was buried before anyone could ever find out.